Bore children and teachers, my name is Kerry. I work for the RSPB, Royal Society for the Protection of Birds. And I've come to your school today to talk about habitats and how we can all do a bit more to help give nature a home. The RSPB is the UK's biggest conservation charity. It's our job to protect nature's animals, insects, plants and trees and help people learn about what they need to survive. Let's have a look, shall we? So who do we have here? Of course, it's a hedgehog. I'm sure you all know more about wildlife and their homes than you think. And that's what I'm here to talk to you about today. But first, let's look at what we all need to survive. Because like this hedgehog, we are animals too. So what 3 things do we need to survive? First, we need water. But how do animals find their water? They don't have taps like us. I bet you've got some great ideas. There are puddles made by rainwater, ponds, and of course a container of water, which we could leave in our garden or our school. Look at this chaffinch having fun splashing about in a puddle. Second, we need food to give us energy. We all know that food gives us energy, don't we? We get so tired without it, and our bodies need the vitamins and minerals found in healthy foods like fruit, vegetables, fish, meat and eggs. But what do animals need? And where does their food come from? I bet you've got lots of ideas again. It's so important for animals to know where to find food, like this red squirrel. Did you know squirrels find and bury acorns and nuts before winter in many different places, just in case they lose them or another squirrel finds it and eats it? Birds love seeds, nuts and berries, but they can be difficult to find if there aren't enough trees, so it's important to grow trees that produce food like holly, oak and cherry trees. What other things do birds like to eat? Fat, wriggly worms and other invertebrates like caterpillars and slugs. Invertebrate is just a word used to describe animals that don't have a backbone or a spine. If we look after these invertebrates by giving them plenty of plants to eat and soil and wood stacks to bury under, then birds will always have a natural food source when they come to our gardens, schools, parks and woodlands. But there's one more thing we all need to survive. We've said water and food. What else do we need? Did anyone say a home? We all need a home to survive. When we think of a home, it's a house or a flat with a sofa, a bedroom, a kitchen and our family. But what does a home look like for insects and birds? Do you think they want to sit on our sofas with us or play hide and seek under a blanket like these children? I don't think so. All animals have their own type of home or habitat. Have you heard of that word, habitat? A habitat is a natural home where an animal or plant usually lives. It's also where they can eat, rest, stay warm and dry and feel safe, perhaps with other animals of the same species, so they can have a family like us. Look at this dormouse. Did you know he spends more than 11 months of the year asleep? So for these little creatures, it's so important that they have a warm, safe habitat to survive. Look at these different habitats. Do you recognise them? Who lives where? Any ideas? I'm sure you've got some great ideas. All of these pictures show a home for many different animals. Let's have a look. A tree. Big trees like this are known as mature trees, seen all over parks like Butte Park and Coopersfield in Cardiff. In the spring, many birds will build nests in these trees, and because of its size, it is also home to a huge variety of insects, invertebrates, and other plant life. Like this caterpillar. And this ladybird. A wood pile. This is dead wood from trees, built into piles like this. However big or small, these are super habitats for woodlouse, slugs, millipedes, centipedes, and lots of other mini beasts. A pond. This provides a habitat for more creatures than you would imagine. Amphibians like frogs and newts live in the pond, while insects like dragonflies, pond skaters and water boatmen live on top of the pond. And even a small pond in the park can be the perfect safe place for a water vole. Let's have a look at this beautiful bumblebee. Where do you think he lives? Yes, their home is called a nest, but unless you are a queen bee, the worker bee will spend a lot of time flying back and forth from the nest, collecting pollen and drinking the sweet nectar from flowers and plants. Without bees, many plants could not reproduce. Bumblebees are pollinators for tomatoes and cocoa plants, which give us chocolate. Flowers and plants need bees and other pollinating insects like hoverflies, wasps and butterflies to take pollen from one flower and carry it to another flower so new seeds can be made for more plants to grow. The bees collect the nectar and pollen from the flowers, and the nectar provides them with energy to keep them buzzing around. Did you know that there are 250 species of bee in the UK? So how could we make better habitats for bees? One thing we can do is grow more flowers. Honeysuckle, dandelions, daisies, knapweed and lavender are just some of the plants that will attract bees. They are packed full of nectar and pollen, and they are really easy for a bee to get inside. And I'll share a secret with you. Nectar can be made in your own kitchen by mixing sugar and water together. But flowers are better at attracting bees as they are a natural and reliable source of nectar. But it's nice to give them an extra sweet treat. So we've shown you pictures of lots of habitats for insects, and of course these insects are food for birds and mammals. If birds have food to eat and a safe home or habitat, then we can continue to enjoy watching them flying above us in the sky, just like these children are. I wonder what birds they have seen today. So we saw those swifts flying over the houses to their nest to sit on their eggs to keep them warm. Now let's look at what we can do to help birds find food during the cold winter time and throughout spring and summer to help birds feed their chicks. We can put out brilliant bird feeders. They are so easy to make. Remember, it can take a few weeks for small birds to know where feeders are and to trust them, so try to be patient. A mix of different foods is a good idea to attract different species of birds. Bigger birds like blackbirds, magpies and wood pigeons will often feed from the fallen seed below the bird feeder. It's good fun to watch the smaller birds feeding from the hanging feeders and the pigeons clearing up the leftovers on the ground. You will start to notice the same birds coming back to the feeders each day, so be sure to keep filling the feeders up. You may even start to learn the behaviour of small birds, like this cheeky robin. He's a very cute bird to look at, but he is a solitary bird who can fight other birds over territory all year round and be very bossy. Feeding birds is not about expensive bird feeders though. A handful of seed or nuts in a bowl will be just as good. Don't forget a container of water too. Bet you all know what this is. A bug hotel. Imagine you're a bug, like a woodlouse or a fat black beetle. Would you crawl under this brick or nuzzle into these sticks to stay warm this winter? Your school is probably full of sleepy creatures every winter. They love gaps in piles of stones, leaves or even walls. But imagine how many more creatures you could have in your school if you had a bug hotel like this one. If you have any old wood, stones or bricks, why not try to make one? You'll be amazed at what you'll find living in there. So many mini beasts, woodlice, spiders, snails and slugs. They will hibernate there over the cold winter months. We've learned so much about habitats today and how we can all help give animals what they need to survive. We can grow plants and flowers in containers and make a habitat for all sorts of creatures, from worms and millipedes to bees, hoverflies and small birds. We can build a bug hotel in our school or garden for beetles, spiders and woodlice. And if we can attach bird boxes high enough to fences, trees or posts, these will give birds a safe place to build a nest for their chicks to hatch and grow. Remember, it's so important to help give nature a home, however small or simple. Let's help nature survive. Now it's your turn to go outside with these Homes for Nature scorecards that your teacher has and see what habitats you can find in your school. Tick off what you find and score your school when you come back in. Thank you so much for listening and watching, and I hope you have a great time outside. See you soon.